Welcome back, friends. Michael the Broke Painter coming at you. Today we're going to do a video I think you're really going to enjoy. And sorry we haven't done any for a while. Life gets in the way, work, family, things just happen. Haven't been able to post anything for a while, but this is something I think you're really going to enjoy today. So let's get things going. Today we're going to be talking about 1-inch brushes. If you had your choice to use a 1-inch brush, which one would you choose? Well, today what we're going to do is we got some fine 1-inch brushes here, and we're going to do a review on the difference on these 1-inch brushes. Maybe that'll help you out decide which one that you might like best. All right, so the brushes we're going to be going over today these are all 1-inch brushes, of course. The Bob Ross new 1-inch brush, the Alexander Magic 1-inch brush, the Kevin Hill 1-inch brush, Brandon Thomas 1-inch brush, Wilson Bickford 1-inch brush, and a mystery brush. We're going to talk about that. So let's get started today. We're going to talk first about the Bob Ross 1-inch brush. Now, Bob Ross has changed their flavor on these 1-inch brushes. They have changed the way they made them. As you can see now, they are made in Germany. And most places that you buy these brushes, they still say, they might even have the picture that says made in the USA. They are not. They are made in Germany now. Now, as far as the bristles on them, they are very long bristles, but they are in fact made with more synthetic bristles. They're not made with only natural hair. They are made with a synthetic blend of bristles. Very long indeed. People use them all the time and they think they're great. So we're going to look more into this and see. They looks to be pretty full on the end. I think a good quality 1-inch brush should have a lot of hairs on the end. It should be stiff but yet soft. And this is stiff, but it is pretty soft. The next brush is the Alexander Magic Brush 1-inch. These are made with 100% natural hair. As I said before on the other brush, the bristles are very long. It has a nice ferrule. The bristles seem to be pretty full. They are firm, but yet they are soft. And that's the Alexander brush. The next brush is the Kevin Hill 1-inch brush. Has long bristles. It is also made of natural hair, 100% natural hair. It does seem to be stiff, yet soft to touch. The bristles on this, well, they don't quite look like they're as uniformed and held together as much. Looks like they spread out more, but that's fine if that's the way you paint, and that's the way Kevin Hill paints, so that's fine. The Brandon Thomas brush. Now this brush is a new style brush that he was making, and it has long bristles made of natural hair. It's very soft to the touch, but yet the bristles are firm. That's something that you want. And it seems like it's a pretty nice little brush too. It says made in China on it, but I think that the ferrules only are made in China as far as I know. The Wilson Bickford brush. Now this brush here is a little bit different. This brush has an angled end to it. It is a synthetic blend, but it is very stiff and it is soft to the touch. And it's got a nice handle. All these other ones have nice handles too. Some of them have round handles, some of them have a square handle. And then our mystery brush. The mystery brush is not got quite as long of bristles, but it's very full, very soft to the touch, but yet it's firm and stiff. So we're going to be talking about that too. So, of all these brushes, some of you have probably used one or several of these. So maybe you have a specific taste to them, or maybe you have a preference of which one you would use. And so what we're going to do is, I wasn't going to paint with these because Bill Alexander and Bob Ross and Brandon Thomas pretty much use the same painting style. Kevin Hill and Wilson Bickford used a little bit different style painting, and I don't want to be biased on using their style of painting to them. But I want you to make your own decision. So what we're going to do is we are going to paint, and we're going to use each one of these brushes, and just so you can get a feel of them. Now, this is maybe not exactly the same way that Kevin Hill would use his brush, or that somebody else would use their brush, but this is just to get you a feel. You use it, you try it out, and you see which one you like. Maybe this video would just help you decide which one you want to try to buy. Now, I will tell you, as far as price, what these cost. The Bob Ross brush, this is current prices as of today. Cost on the Bob Ross site, cost $13.79. The Bill Alexander brush on their website cost $19.45. The Kevin Hill brush on his site cost $11.50. The Brandon Thomas brush on his site cost $12.99. The Wilson Bickford brush, of course, it is sold in a lot of different places. You can buy it on Jerry's Autorama. You can buy the complete set on Amazon, I believe. But this brush here on Jerry's Autorama sells for $14.59. These are all plus shipping, of course. So that could be a factor too in the kind of brushes you like. I like to use 1-inch brushes, mainly because most of the time I paint on smaller canvases. I don't paint always on 18 by 24 canvases or 20 by 36 canvases. When you're using smaller canvases, sometimes it's easier to use smaller brushes. So I have a particular preference to using smaller 1-inch brushes, although I do use 2-inch brushes. So these are just, to me, these are one of the main components in your arsenal for painting. A good 1-inch brush can make all the difference between making a good painting or making one that you're just not quite happy with. So let's get set up, and we're going to do some painting on the canvas, and we'll show you what they look like. All right, folks, we got everything maybe set up here. We sectioned off this old canvas. I had a canvas, not an old canvas, but I accidentally put a little rip in it. So this is what will be good to use. So we're going to do this in 6 different spots. We got this 6 different brushes. We got the Bob Ross, Alexander's, Kevin Hill, Brandon Thomas, Wilson Bickford, and our mystery brush. So we got everything set up. I hope you're having a good day where you're at. It's a beautiful day here, and we're going to just try this out and see what happens. Actually, not so pretty today. It's kind of, well, it's raining. It's supposed to be snowing after a while. Very cold here. So if you hear my heater in the background, that's why. But let's do, what we're going to do is we're just going to put a couple, like the same kind of tree, maybe in all 6 different spots. And we're going to try to use each one of these brushes the same way. So let's do that first. So we're going to take some black and just some brown and mix it up. By the way, this is one of the fun things about painting, if you ask me. Mix some paint. So we've got 6 different kind of trees and some bushes to make, so we need to mix up quite a big bit of paint. Put some sap green in there too. All right. Wipe my knife off here. Now, to put the background trees on, I'm going to use the same brush because what we're really looking for today is highlights. So I'm going to use this old 2-inch Bob Ross brush. So we're just going to pull some paint through it. Just get some paint on there. And we're just going to sock it in there. Get some more paint on there. I did not put any liquid white on this canvas. There's no need to. We're not going to do any blending or anything. So Make sure we get a lot of paint on there. So we're going to do that and hang with us. All right, we've got some background color on there. So now we're going to try, and I'm going to try to hold the camera while I do this because I want to get a good close-up shot of all that stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to use some of this cad yellow, and a little bit of this yellow ochre, and I'm not going to use any liquid white. I'm going to use thinner just to keep the color. So just dip in a little bit of thinner, and we're going to go through it. Add just a little bit of sap green. We want a rounded edge. A rounded edge like so. And let's see what happens if we to start out with, we're going to turn that rounded edge like we pulled it through, and we're just going to tap up here and see what happens. Just try to put some highlights on. That gives it a little bit more paint. Seems to be doing pretty good, making some good little highlights on there. Now we're going to take the rounded edge. I'm going to get just a touch more thinner. I want to make sure this is really thin. A little bit more sap green. I found that you got to be careful with sap green. It'll really get too much green too quick. So we've got a good rounded edge there, and we're just going to try right here and seem to be making some good highlights. Wipe that off, picking up some of the background color. I put a lot of paint on here because I didn't have anything else to go with it, so seems to be doing pretty good. Making some nice little bushes. Now, this is obviously not a finished painting by any means, so what this is going to look like, I don't know. We're just trying out brushes here. So what we're going to do now is just one more thing. We're going to push, we'll try just a little bit of grass. Yeah, it looks like it's made some pretty good highlights. So that's the Bob Ross 1-inch brush. So we tried that one right now. Next one we're going to try is the Bill Alexander brush. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to dip it in just a little bit thinner. Now, just to be fair, I'm going to clean my palette. Get most of this old dirty green off there. Pull out some more of that cad yellow. We're going to if you're like me, you run out of room for stuff. I run out of room for brushes and stuff all the time. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to take care of that next time. Dip it in there, shake it off. We're going to pull it through the green, the yellow. Get just a little bit of sap green. You could even put a little bit of that in it, but we're not going to since we're trying to make we're trying to be exact on every one that we can. So we'll make sure you get plenty of paint on that brush. Now we're going to do like the other one. We're just going to take the top edge and just tap. Just barely tap. We'll go back and get some more paint. We got plenty of paint too. We're not going to run out. We got paint. We got tubes of paint. So you got to think like a tree, right? What does Bob say? Let's find out.
Let's make some nice little clouds that just float around and have fun all day.
Well, we're not making any clouds. We're making trees today. But that's a good some good advice. I like the way these bristles are working pretty good too. It's kind of hard to hold the camera and do this. If anybody doesn't this very much. Now we're going to use the rounded edge, like so. We're just going to try. Make some bushes like that. Seems to be working pretty well. Bill Alexander would say, "And you fired it in there." That German accent of his. Looks like it's making some pretty good bushes. Now we're just going to do one more thing. We're going to make a little bit of grass. You could do it by pushing up. And that would make some nice little grass too. So that's the Bill Alexander brush. All right, now I've exhausted my supply of paint on this palette here. So what we're going to do is we're got to get some more paint on here. So bear with me. Be right back. All right, we got 4 more to go. So I put a generous amount of paint on my palette, and I just like to spread it out a little bit with the knife first. You do it however you want to. Next, Kevin Hill. We're going to use the Kevin Hill brush. Do the same thing. We're going to get a little bit of thinner. Dip it right through there. Tap in some yellow ochre. A little bit of sap green. We want to get a good amount on that brush. A little bit more sap green. That's better. We'll try this first like we did the other ones. We're just going to tap with the top. Get a little bit more paint. Yeah, we got to think like a tree, right? Is that what Bob always told us? Think like a tree. It would be brighter out here than it would on the inside. Now we're going to pull it back through. Take just a touch more thinner. Pull it back through. We got a rounded edge. We'll come over here and just lightly push up. And again, now like I said, these trees are not, if I was doing an actual painting, I would make it a little bit different. And change the flavor a little bit. And that brush seems to be making some good, nice little bushes too. Lastly, we're going to put a little bit of grass in. Now Kevin Hill, a lot of times he'll do it like this as well. But that's okay. You do it how you want to. And that's the Kevin Hill brush. Next is the Brandon Thomas brush. Now I want to show you this. This was the old style Brandon Thomas brush, which is a good brush. It has stiff bristles that are soft to touch. And I'm not plugging anything. This is not, none of this. I bought all these brushes myself. This is his new style. As you can tell, the bristles are a lot longer. And I have not tried one of these yet. This is a brand new brush, as well as the Alexander and the Kevin Hill and the Bob Ross brush. Well, and the Wilson Bickford brush I've only used maybe once or twice, so they're all fairly new. So we're going to try this Brandon Thomas brush next. We'll get some of this ugly old paint off there. And drag it through, I'll get a little bit thinner on there. The yellow ochre. A little bit of sap green. And we've got a rounded edge. And like the other ones, we're just going to use the top part of it to tap and see what happens. Now, my trees are not turning out that well, so don't take that into account. It's hard to hold the camera and do this. And you see it's got that hair sticking out. New brushes will do that. So we're going to just pull that one out. Any new natural bristle brush is going to shed. And that's working pretty good too. We're thinking like a tree. Alright, we're going to go back in, get some more. A little bit of yellow ochre. Then this time we're going to take the rounded corner to the top and just lightly push. We need a little bit more thinner. If it's not thin enough and you're having to push hard to stick, this is what you'll get. You'll get a little bit gloppy. I didn't have enough thinner on there. So you want to make sure you got enough thinner or liquid white, whatever you're using. You don't want the bristles pushed together. You want them kind of loose. So that was working pretty good too. A little bit of yellow ochre just to change the flavor a little bit. Same thing, we're going to try to put some grass in. So there's the Brandon Thomas brush. Works pretty good, in my opinion. You can always come back, make these looser, whatever you want to do. Next is the Wilson Bickford brush. Wilson, as you know, passed away most recently. It's very sad. He's missed very much in the painting community. Had so much to teach, gone too soon. So our prayers are with his family, and we sure do miss him. So what we're going to do here, now these brushes are angled. So we're still going to use them the same way, kind of. Get some paint on there. A little bit of sap green. And we're just going to tap. Tap and a little bit of yellow ochre. Now these bristles here, like we said, are more of a synthetic blend, but seem to be doing pretty well. We're gonna get some more thinner. Drag it through there. Now, this brush being angled is going to be different on making rounded bushes, but we're going to try it. I mean, we're going to try it and see what happens. So, should be the same principle. Sure it is, yeah. Works the same. You just got to hold it a little bit different because it's angled. The reason I believe these were made angled was it was easier to blend out skies and things like that with it angled. And as far as tapping like the way we did up here, it makes it so much easier. You're just barely touching the top part of the bristles if that's what you're looking for. But this is working pretty good. Make sure you get plenty of paint on there. Not so much it's stuck together, but you want it kind of loose. But you want plenty of paint on there. Now, as far as grass, since this one is angled, we're just going to more use the tip. But you can make grass however you want to with these. However you want to. So that's the Wilson Bickford brush. Now, the old mystery brush. Anybody know what that is before I start painting with it? I'll tell you here in a little bit. A little bit of thinner. Run through some paint. And need more paint again. So, I'm going to set you down just a second. Hang on. Or take cap off when you hold one hand. This is what I'm using today, by the way. Master's Touch oil color. Bought this at Hobby Lobby. Use whatever you want. This is for a cheaper paint. It does pretty good. Got to set you down just a second. Yellow ochre I'm using is Winton oil color. I like it pretty good too. All right, so this is harder to do with one hand and by yourself than I thought, but we're working it. We're doing it. Hang with me. Just hold on, folks. We're getting there. A little bit of thinner. Same thing. We got a rounded edge and a square and an angled edge. We're just going to tap at the top. It's making some fine brushes too. Making some fine bushes too. Now we got an angled rounded side here, angled on the bottom now, and we're just going to put in some, do one bush, then reload your brush. Maybe change the flavor a little bit. Do one bush, reload your brush. Now we're going to put in a little bit of grass. Same way. You could turn the brush over, whatever. So there we have it. We've used all 6 brushes. What do you guys think? The Bob Ross synthetic blend brush. The Alexander's natural bristle brush. The Kevin Hill natural bristle brush. The Brandon Thomas natural bristle brush. The Wilson Bickford synthetic blend, and our mystery brush. I think it's time to show you what our mystery brush is. Let me see if I can do this. Our mystery brush, if I get the paint off of it, or the tape off of it. Some of you probably already knew what this brush was. Well, that tape sticks good when you don't want it to, that's for sure. Half the time you use it to stick it to your canvas, or won't even stick to your canvas. Bob Ross brush. So yeah, well, we already had a Bob Ross brush. What's the difference? Well, this one. If I get to focus. Right there says made in the USA. This is the old style Bob Ross brushes. This is the ones that Weber used to make, Martin F. Weber Company. They lost the contract in 2016, and Bob Ross now sends, they do the same brushes, but they're done overseas. And they're made in Germany, which is fine. A lot of people are using these brushes, and they're not having a bit of trouble with them, and that's fine. I do say, my personal opinion, I like the older style better because they are not a synthetic blend, but they are natural hog bristles. But this one that has a synthetic blend that we showed you today seems to be working pretty good. And I think that's what a lot of the instructors are using. That was the kicker for why I wanted to do this video. I looked all over trying to find these old style natural bristle brushes. And I was having a very hard time. And since they changed them since 2016, it's not a wonder. Now, a lot of places you go to buy these online, they're still going to look like this handle here. But trust me, I've looked, scoured high and low for these. They are not going to be this style. They're going to be this style, the one made in Germany. Unless you could find and buy one of the old Master Paint kits that you can get the original brushes in. There's probably some still out there. You can find them on eBay or wherever else somebody sells them. Some of them may be used. I bought a used kit recently, but the brushes were, I don't even know if they were even used once. They looked like they were brand new, but the kit was used. It had been opened. But you could find these in the old kits. If not, you can use these. I think they do just fine. So you make your choice of what you want to do. And, you know, we're trying to just show you some different things that you can do. I think all 6 of these brushes work very well on this canvas. It just depends on what you like and what you want. So that's what we wanted to do, is just a review on some of these brushes. Maybe you could help you make your decision a little bit better. You know, I'm just a broke painter. I don't know a lot about a lot of things. I do like to paint, and I do like to use 1-inch brushes, so that's my flavor. So hope you have a great day. Keep painting and just try out what you think you might like. A lot of people already out there use some of these brushes, and they're very happy with them. So until next time, happy painting.